And moving on, the U.S.-Israel relationship has seen its fair share of ups and downs over the years. But it is no doubt one of the strongest and most important relationships for Israel. And with the new coalition set to be sworn in on Sunday, this raises the question of how this government change will affect Jerusalem's relationship with Washington. Here to discuss is retired Ambassador Dani Ayalon, former Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Welcome. So I'd like to start with the general question that's, I think, on everyone's mind, and then sort of maybe dive into the specifics. But generally speaking, how will the swearing in of the new coalition affect Israel's relationship with the United States and the Biden administration specifically?
Well, I'm not sure that it will have such a great deal of an effect, certainly because there are interests which are constant both for Israel and the United States. Of course, there are many nuances. Of course, there are many directions. But the main thing is that the Biden administration is trying to keep an arm's length from the Middle East, also from the conflict with the Palestinians. And this will not change with the new government simply because the new government is not going to have any focus on the Palestinian issue. It's a government which will have decided to not deal with controversial issues for them. And that includes maybe first and foremost the Palestinian issue. Something that could have some effect is an issue of settlements. But here again, I believe that the status quo will be as such that the policy of intensifying or strengthening the settlements in the major Jewish blocs will continue, but no new settlements. And in such a policy, the Biden administration can tolerate. Jerusalem also may be an issue, but I don't think that Biden is Obama in the sense that here there is a little bit of leeway for the government when it comes to this. And I think that certainly in the next few months, the focus of, let's say, the discussion with Washington will be mostly on Iran, less so on the Palestinians.
So speaking about Iran, I mean, this really is one of the major issues facing the new coalition, right? The U.S. is restarting talks this weekend with Iran. It's been a major point of contention with the Netanyahu administration. What can we expect now with the new coalition?
Well, the position of this government, and certainly of the prime minister here, the two prime ministers, I would say, is not much different than Netanyahu. The strategy would be the same. However, in the tactical issues, there may be a difference which may benefit the relationship. Certainly, there will not be any defiance, which will be a public defiance. It may be an intensification of backdoor meetings. And I think that in case there won't be any agreement between the two governments, they will agree to disagree, as has been the case so many times in the past in relation to the Palestinian issue. But here, I believe that there will be a appropriate compensation, let's say, file or a compensation measures that the Biden administration will commit to Israel in such a case.
Right, Ambassador Dani Ayalon, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
My pleasure.